What is up, guys? Welcome to this episode of the Positionless Pod. I'm your host, Kai Gamage, and I'm here as per usual with the most wonderful, young, bright, brilliant, positionless minds in the basketball landscape today. Minus one person. I've got Aaron, Matthew, and Mike Cruz. Diego is fast asleep or something. Who knows with this guy? He's surely not in the Philippines, so that's not an
Nobody
excuse.
knows.
Yeah, I mean, if he was in the Philippines, I'll allow it, but this guy, unreal. But yeah, we're here with a short staff. You know, got a couple guys on the IL today, or I got one guy on the IL today. I'm here with a short staff, but we're still here to give you the basketball content of all time. Um, so a week and a half or so was passed in the NBA calendar. Last week we did talk about some overreactions, some takeaways from the first week of the NBA. This is the second week essentially. We didn't get to cover Harden in the last podcast, so we'll get into that. We'll also just be talking about some of the bigger happenings in the NBA today, and then we'll close off the show with some of our losers so far this season. A couple obvious ones there, but yeah, should be a fun one. But first, guys, how's it going?
Doing good. Excited to talk ball.
Excited to talk about the Grizzlies?
Absolutely, man. I love talking about bum teams.
Man, this guy. So the whole lead up to this episode, where we're trying to figure out what we're going to talk about, I suggest the Grizzlies. I've never seen someone so stringently against talking about a bad team.
Bro,
I can't comprehend it. He's like, name me one podcast where people talk about it. I name him one of the top 5 biggest podcasts in basketball that talks about the Grizzlies all the time, and he's not having it. You're not having it, bro. You're not having
it on there. What do you expect?
You're not having it, bro. You asked for a prominent podcast that talks about the Grizzlies.
I wasn't having it.
This guy, just Warriors all day, huh? Unreal. It's okay. We'll talk about your Magic too after they beat up on another irrelevant team.
Yeah, come on, let's go. Top 3 defensively.
Aaron, how are you, man? Aaron, how are you, buddy? How you feeling about LeBron's minutes?
Listen, I'm more than happy to see my king flourish. The rest of the team, chop. Yeah.
Guys, pack it up. Unbelievable. We always talk about the Lakers. We won't talk about the Lakers today. I feel like that's kind of just a broken record. But yeah, I mean, speaking of broken records, does it ever end with this guy? I figure let's just jump into it. Let's just talk about James Harden, the prima donna of NBA of all time. Insanity, what this guy's going through. It never seems to end, eh? So last episode, we did record, I think, a day. Or no, like less than a day before the Harden news dropped. And I centered an entire segment from my takeaways around James Harden. And then the news drops. And in my spiel, I kind of said that it didn't really matter what the Sixers got in return just because of how good this team is looking under Nick Nurse so far, how good Joel Embiid, how good Tyrese Maxey have been so far. The maybe more clear-cut roles for guys like Tobias Harris, DeAnthony Melton, Kelly Oubre, they've all been doing really well in the Sixers offense so far. But then the news breaks and the package is James Harden, PJ Tucker, and I think Philip Petrusev to the Los Angeles Clippers for Nicholas Batum. Watch out, guys. I'm naming some studs here. Nicholas Batum, Robert Covington, Kenyon Martin Jr., and Marcus Morris, and a few picks. So let's get into it, guys. How do you feel about the? Do we want to talk about the return package for Philly, or do we want to talk about the fit of Harden and the Clippers first? Clippers probably, right?
Clippers first. Yeah.
All right. Guys, how do you feel about the Clippers now? How do you think Harden fits into this offense? Is it a good move for this team to be going after someone like James Harden at this point in his career?
I mean, for what they had to give up, I think it was a great move. Like if they had to actually give up Norman Powell and Terrence Mann, that's when you lose some significant rotation players. Now they just gave up scrubs and got an all NBA caliber guy, led the league in assists last season. Despite all the drama, he still did that. So I think it was a great trade for them. And like the whole there is only one ball thing, we saw how it was quickly dismissed when the Nets trio worked when healthy. So again, if the Clippers are healthy, I think this is going to be a great fit. The only questionable factor for me is where Russ fits in. I don't think Harden's going to have any problem fitting in. We've seen him do that for multiple teams now in the last couple of years. It just like, I don't know where Russ is going to be.
Yeah, I mean, that's the first thing I thought about too. Like, what's gonna happen with Russ now? Like, is he gonna come off the bench? Obviously, we heard the news that they're actually starting Russ alongside Harden, but yeah, I mean, I don't know where this leaves him right now. Like, sure, the Clippers. I mean, he's been a great fit for the Clippers so far, but obviously Harden's still James Harden. As far as what we last saw last year, he led the league in assists, but yeah, I just don't know what happens with Russell Westbrook right now because he seems redundant with Harden's skill set.
Yeah. I mean, I look at both of them, and neither have excelled as catch and shoot guys for a little while now. But we've actually seen Russ, I think, kind of make that adjustment this season. He has been playing a little bit more off ball. He's shooting nearly 40% from deep, and most of those are on catch and shoot looks. Like his pull up is like he's not taking those anymore. Like take that Kawhi falling to his knees video as much as you want. Like there wasn't much Russ was going to be able to do in that situation. I'm not going to give him crap for that shot. But he's actually like improved his looks, right? Like he is taking those catch and shoot looks. He is seemingly more willing to play off ball, and he's putting up some of like the more solid shooting splits than he's put up in a while, right? Like he's shooting 51.6% from the field, 38.9% from three. His free throws still suck, but like he's been able to sort of transition to that off-ball role, though I'm still not expecting that to be the role alongside James Harden. I don't think that that's something that you can run Russ in full time. He's still such a like great drive and kick player that like you don't want him to be playing off ball. It doesn't make sense. It didn't make sense in LA. It doesn't make sense in also LA. Um, but I mean, Harden, we haven't seen him play off ball in ages, right? Like last season, he had the ball in his hands the second most in the league per game. He like had the ball in his hands 8.6 minutes a game. That was second only behind Luka Doncic at 9.1, which is like mind-boggling. And dude is trying to say that he's being put on a leash. Like, bro, the ball is in your hands all game long. But despite all that, we actually saw his frequency of catch and shoot looks be at the highest it's been since 2017. He was taking like I think 12.9% of his shots on catch and shoots, and in like every single year prior between 2016, 2017, and now, and sorry, last season, he was in the single digits for catch and shoots. Like that just wasn't his game. Do you think that there's a world where we see James Harden maybe transition more to that style of basketball, playing alongside guys that Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, like they're not catch and shoot guys. They never will be. Like you can't ask them to do that. Same with Russell Westbrook. Like even though he's getting better at the catch and shoot, like he's still going to have the ball in his hands. Could James Harden be the one to sort of change his game and grow from where he was last season with Philadelphia into an even more prominent catch and shoot guy? Maybe like I don't think he'll be like the guy we saw in Oklahoma City, right? Like no chance. But is there a middle ground that we could find between the extremely ball dominant pull up like driving player that Harden was and maybe the player he was in Oklahoma functioning as more of a supportive scorer and a solid catch and shoot player.
I mean, I think he has to because I read what Ty Lue said, and he basically said when both of Russ and Harden are going to be on the floor, Westbrook's going to be the main handler. And Harden will start at least off ball. So Ty Lue's already signaling that Harden has to play more off ball. And I think that's for the best, right? Because you said when you have guys like Kawhi and PG, I mean, they are great shooters, but you're limiting them. You're limiting like better players to try to give Harden the ball more. So you definitely can do that. So I think whether he likes it or not, Harden has to adapt. And the only, not the only, like one of the big challenges here is also that all four of those guys are going to be free agents. So all of them have to put on their best because this is contract year. So I think Ty Lue has to do a hell of a coaching job to accommodate all of this going on.
Yeah, I think Harden's going to be the one who's going to make the most adjustments among all the three. Like what you mentioned, like 12% catch and shoot.
Yeah, 12.7% catch and like on like that was the frequency that he had catch and shoot looks throughout
Yeah,
the game.
yeah, yeah. So Kawhi last year was at 19.2%, and Paul George was at 24. I think Paul George is pretty adept in playing off ball. Kawhi, there's a world where he can just adjust his game too, but he's obviously more effective on pull up. He's as effective on pull up jumpers
Yeah.
compared to catch and shoot. But yeah, I think Harden's going to be the one who's going to have to adjust more to this. Like he's already going off like he's the system. What is that signal already, right? Like, I mean, is he gonna complain again that he's not, you know, being the focal point or something? Like, it's really going to have to come from him. I think the adjustment. He's gonna have to make the most adjustments because
Yeah.
he's coming into this team, right?
Yeah, and I mean, this is the situation he wanted, right? Like he wanted to go to the Clippers knowing full well that like the team is clogged, right? Like there's more than enough guys and there aren't enough role players on this team to really handle like or to give them the depth that they need to contend throughout the regular season and the playoffs, right? Like that's been the issue with this squad. And Harden doesn't fill that hole, so he has to be willing to change his game. Like it's absurd. I mean, he already got what he wanted by getting to the Clippers in the first place, which is just ridiculous. Um, I don't think that you can really bend the knee in this situation if you're Lou and like just give him the role that he wants, being constantly on ball. Like that's not who you are anymore, you know?
Yeah. And I've seen some people talk about how the Russ Harden backcourt, at least in the regular season, worked very well on the Rockets. And while that is true, Kawhi Leonard and Paul George are not Robert Covington and PJ Tucker. They're not just your ordinary role players who are happy to be in the corner. That's not how it works. So I I won't be surprised if there is a Harden quote again where he's complaining. But I have to agree, the whole "I am the system" was the coldest quote of the season so far.
Man, he had a couple bangers in that introductory press conference, man. He called himself what? Elite as an individual. That's a good one. I should start saying that about myself. That's crazy. What else did he say? Shoot, I had it written down. Some wonderful stuff. Thank you, James Harden. Um, yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. Just the like being on a leash thing. That's it. Just, dude, elite as an individual. What are we doing? Like, who are you fooling, bro? Who are you fooling with that one?
Eh,
We know who you are. We've seen what you do. Like 4 teams in 4 years. I feel like that's really the thing that's just crazy here. It's just like, is this gonna last? Is this a good move for the environment that the Clippers might be trying to build within this team? Like does this make sense organizationally for the Clippers?
I mean, yeah, like James Harden, we are familiar with your game. But I think they, like, with the whole new stadium thing happening, with, like I said, right, PG and Kawhi also being contract years, they definitely need the star power, whatever star power they can get, going into that new stadium era. And if it means it's a washed Harden, it's still a washed superstar. So
Yeah.
I guess, even though it doesn't work out like that as a locker room, that's probably not what you want. As an organization trying to sell out a new stadium, I guess they have to.
Is this ominous of what's gonna happen? Because it kind of reminds me of Kyrie's quote about Steve Nash when they first started out in Brooklyn. Like, we don't have a coach, something like that. Right? So he's already talking about his individual eliteness. So
Yeah.
what is that? What does that signal to the organization right now? Right? I don't
Yeah,
know.
dude, like the first thing he does when in his press conference is essentially bag on Doc Rivers for the role that he played him in, even though he was like the second highest ball handler in the league. Like, bro, check yourself. What are you talking about? Like he's demolishing Doc Rivers if you're reading between the lines there, just saying that he's not being used properly. Like this guy's just I wouldn't trust him with my team. I can't. And like I feel like the Clippers are probably going to re-sign all three, right? Like I don't see any of those guys going anywhere. Like we're talking about the team with the richest owner, right? He'll have no problem, I feel, kind of just throwing money at Kawhi, Paul George, and Harden just to keep them intact. Like, but it just feels like the Brooklyn Nets back in like 2013.
Yeah,
Like what I don't I don't see it. I'm sorry. Like, sure, Kawhi's playing pretty damn well. Last season in the playoffs, he was absolutely out of this world. Can't trust him. Paul George has been playing out of his mind so far to start the season. He sent out that where's Paul though pick or that video. And then he still followed it up with a great game. So clearly he's on one right now. Russ has been playing his role really well so far. It seems like he fits this mold a lot better than when he did with the Lakers. But I don't trust all three pieces together. And I don't trust them to really contend with, I mean, Denver,
yeah.
right? Like you're not at that level.
I'm
Yeah,
not gonna lie. I just don't trust Harden at all. Like,
How can you? How can you? Like what is he given us in the past, I mean, like 10 years basically, that can like garner any trust? This guy's the biggest playoff choker of all time. Like it's crazy because every once in a while in the playoffs, like that series against the Celtics, he absolutely killed them a couple games.
yeah,
But you
yeah,
can tell the second the game starts when he's checked in or when he's checked out. Like if that first shot is going in, like if the baskets are counting, if he's moving well, if he looks like he gives a shit, like sorry, if he gives a crap, if he cares, like he'll be good. But it just happens too often that he just doesn't care.
yeah,
yeah. I mean, at this point of his career, I feel like he's cared less. Obviously, when he was in Houston, he still had a contending team. I mean, he still has a contending team now, but it just feels like he cares less at this point of his career.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like a championship's the end goal with him at the end of the day. Okay, let's talk about really quickly a team where a championship is obviously the end goal. The Philadelphia 76ers, the return package was, I mean, it's a bunch of bums. I don't expect these guys to get real playing time, like any of them. Like maybe Robert Covington could chip in with like something. I don't know. He's been pretty bad. Like he's been pretty bad the past couple of years. There's nothing really that redeemable there. I don't see any like upside in the players here, but obviously the picks I think are what we need to be looking at when it comes to the Philadelphia 76ers. So how overall do we feel about like the return package for Philly? Does it make them a better team? Um, and is there maybe like a way for them, like do you see this trade package more as a way for Maury to flip these tradable contracts that are all expiring and these picks for maybe a better superstar down the line, like maybe later this year or in the off season?
I mean, I would assume he has to, right? Because like you mentioned, out of the crop of players they got, maybe KJ Martin is the only one you think about keeping long term as a backup wing, because like during his time with the Rockets, we saw that he can still be a solid role player. And I think aside from him, they definitely have to think about uh, finding a way to trade these guys into somebody who can actually contribute, because uh, getting not one, not two, but three washed wings for somebody who led the league in assists is baffling. Like, there's you're telling me that's the best you could have gotten? Like the whole like Norman Powell and Terrence Mann package would have been better. Like you get guys who can actually contribute immediately. But now you're waiting, you're hoping to have a trade. I don't know. Like they have to go for a trade again.
All right. Yeah. So Diego's here with us now. And we are just talking about the Philadelphia 76ers return package here. And yeah, like you were saying, like these are all, like Aaron said, like these are three washed wings that they got in return. I'm not really holding out hope for KJ Martin. Like he looked pretty bad this year, and it just feels like the numbers he put up in Houston were because he was in Houston. But he's not like a serious piece, I don't think. But what they also did get is a ton of salary cap relief, right? So Marcus Morris, 17 million and unrestricted free agent next year. Nicholas Batum, 11 million unrestricted free agency next year. Same thing with Robert Covington, 11 million and a UFA next year. So that's a total of, I'm bad at math. Give me 1 second. I'm putting it together. 30,
38.
39 million dollars that they will have off their books for next season. Those are three very tradable contracts. They got they got what were the picks that they got?
I think they got a 2026 one and a 2028. Then
Okay, and then they also got a pick swap,
yeah,
right? In 2024.
2028 first rounder, two second round picks, a 2029 draft pick swap, and then the additional first. I think that's what came from OKC, right?
Oh yeah, and that's either a 2024, 2025, or 2025, 2026 one, right? I think it's
Yeah.
still up in the air as to which one they've picked.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Point being, that's a ton of draft capital, right? Like, it's a lot. I'm not gonna shut that down, and I think that that's enough to like swing yourself another star should one become available this season. And I think that that's what the 76ers are banking on at the end of the day. If they're unable to make that trade for another superstar and they go into next season with their core being Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey. Tobias Harris is also off the books next season, by the way. $39 million. I do like him, though. I do like Tobias Harris. Just a bloated contract. But point being, if they're unable to swing a trade for another superstar, where do you see the Philadelphia 76ers going from here? Like, is that kind of the end of the road? Like, are they screwed? Is there anything that they can do? Or
I think they still have a chance to, considering all the things you mentioned. I think they still have a chance to contend for maybe a couple more years. As long as Joel Embiid, remains checked in with the team. Like I don't know what kind of deals they can make this year. They can maybe look towards Chicago, see what they can get for DeMar DeRozan, or I don't know, Zach Levine. or maybe they can swing for like uh Malcolm Brogdon or something like that. You know,
Mm.
just they obviously don't have to give up as much to acquire Brogdon, but I mean it's still a solid piece to pair with Maxi in the backcourt and uh Embiid as well. So yeah, I mean I can still see them contending as long as Embiid is checked in.
Yeah. Their contract table is a mess, eh? I'm looking at it here on Spot Track, and the only guys they actually have under contract next season are Joel Embiid, Paul Reed, and Jaden Springer, right? Tyrese Maxey's an
Yeah.
RFA. I don't think he's been offered a contract yet. But obviously, whatever, like they will make sure that Maxey stays within this team. Like, there's no way he doesn't get like a max offer because he's going to be an all-star this year. But then the rest of it, like every single player is coming off the books. The amount of movement that the 76ers are going to be able to do this offseason is going to be absurd. But it's just about, are they going to do it? Right? Like when you only have essentially what's going to be 4 guys under contract next season once they re-sign Tyrese Maxey, like, dude, that's a whole roster to fill out. Right? And like we've seen the Lakers do it in the LeBron Pelinka era, right? Like we've seen them go into off seasons with only like 3-4 guys really on the books and then just filling out the roster from there. But like the 76ers aren't the Lakers.
Mm.
Right? And like I just like that's messy, man.
I feel like they have to prove something here this season.
Yeah.
Like they have to go deep in the playoffs, which I honestly don't see happening because of Milwaukee and Boston. Although Milwaukee's
Who?
pretty shaky.
Who?
But yeah,
Dog, we'll get
It's not
into them.
good.
They suck, man.
but yeah, I mean, I feel like they have to prove something, like the Lakers did last year, right? They made a Western Conference Finals. So if they can do that, maybe free agents will look towards Philadelphia's way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like s- they have the reigning MVP on the team. If he has another MVP-esque season, why would players not want to join the team, right? Like Kelly Oubre this year, he had nowhere left to go, and and he chose the Sixers, giving him a minimum. And like 5 games in, he's averaging 20 on amazing efficiency. So they have the money to keep him on the books. They have like you said, I think Tobias Harris is also likely to return on a team friendly deal. So I think like a core of like 5 6 players they do have already. So they just have to fill out rotational players, which if you have the MVP shouldn't be too tough.
Yeah, I mean they won't have Korkmaz, so
Mark Moss has been wanting out for so long now.
hey, he's a system. He's not a system
Okay.
player, man.
Yeah, Korkmaz is a system.
Yeah, he's
Bro.
him. Put some respect.
Shout out to him for trying to be part of the Harden trade.
yo, let me get in on that, man. So,
Nobody wants him.
who want me? No, that's tough. All right. I think now that we're talking about Korkmaz, I think we're done with this topic, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Diego,
Yeah.
you want to add anything to it? Or are you good?
I just don't think the Sixers are necessarily like screwed
Mhm.
because they have Embiid and Maxey, but again, Embiid might want to leave if things don't work out. But I feel like they're gonna do everything in their power to keep Maxey.
Of course.
And I think Maxey is that guy, to be quite honest. So if they keep Maxey and just build around him, like it'll be hard. Obviously, like you're gonna need another star alongside Maxey, and it's gonna be hard to get an MVP caliber guy like Embiid. But if they can do it, then damn,
Yeah.
it could go straight to contending again.
No, I mean, look, they look good. Nick Nurse is installing a system well. But yeah, I feel like that's a good jumping point talking about Nick Nurse to move on to our next topic. I was gonna do it when Mike said prove himself, but yeah, I feel like I feel like one player's really proven himself in Nick Nurse's old team outside of Nick Nurse's shadow. We out here. Oh my goodness, man. Scottie Barnes is taking the leap. He is everything I dreamed of and more. After he had his rookie of the year season, I looked at it and I'm like, he looks good. I'm really happy this is the guy this is the Raptors drafted. He makes sense with this team. But there were a lot of things I was just like kind of skeptical about, right? And those skepticisms did prove themselves to be true in his second year. The shot got worse. His defense, he looked checked out a lot of the time. He just wasn't being utilized last year under Nick Nurse in any really good capacity. He looked bad. Like he took a step back. It was a sophomore slump, no doubt. But right now I'm looking at him and I think that his ceiling is so much higher than what I thought it was when he won Rookie of the Year. It has been incredible what he's done. Like he's basically locked in for an all-star at this point if he keeps up this pace. And I don't know if I expect him to keep up this pace, but right now he's dropping 22.6 points a game, 9.9 rebounds, 5.9 assists, 1.1 steals, 2.1 blocks. His shooting splits are 51% from the field, 42% from three, bro. And then 76% from the free throw line. Doesn't matter. Not the point. But he looks like everything I hoped he would be and more. And I just don't see. I don't know. I've never been this hopeful. Like I came into this season hoping for like a good Raptors team after they went undefeated in the preseason. The first regular season game that was great. I was living. I can't tell you how happy I was. October 25th was a beautiful day. Then they sucked. They had that Bulls game that was just maybe one of the basketball games of all time. They got slapped around by the 76ers twice. They had an incredible win against Milwaukee. That team stinks, though, purely irrelevant. And then last night, so we're recording this on a Monday, so Sunday afternoon, he single-handedly brought the Raptors back down from 19 points at the half. He scored 17 points in the fourth quarter. Finished the game with 30. Right? Let 1 second. Let me pull up his full stats from last night. Just because I feel like it's ridiculous what he's doing. So, he finished the game 30 points, 11 rebounds, 6 assists, 3 steals and 3 blocks. Like his ceiling is so much higher than I ever thought it would be. Life is good, man. Trade Siakam, bro. This is his franchise. This is his city right now. This is Scottie Barnes' city. Stunt on him for.
Okay, this is exactly who everyone thought Ben Simmons would be if he had a jumper. When like all of those all-star years where like he had everything aside from his jumper, that's exactly how Scottie Barnes looks now. He has everything you could ask for. I mean, like, with like an average free throw, I guess, but it's actually incredible to see how he was like a poor shooter, like he was well below average, and now he's walking into clutch step back threes to tie the game. Bro, that's insane. And he can do that while also being able to absolutely body and back down a guy like Jeremy Sohan and dunk on him. That's insanely versatile skill set here. Like, bro, and he's leading the Raptors in points, rebounds and blocks. He's first in the league in stocks by like a non-center. Like AD's obviously number one. He's
I see what you're doing,
7th.
bro. I see what you're doing.
Obviously,
AD is obviously number one.
Yeah, of course.
Come on.
Okay.
Who else?
And then in rebounds plus assists this season, he's only behind Luka and Jokic.
5 ahead of Mobley, by the way.
Bro, I think those conversations are over,
Son.
beyond over.
Who?
And he's also like 7th in points scored in the fourth. Like that's the guy you want to see the ball with in the fourth quarter. It, it's insane how much of a jump he's taken in like an off season. When we saw all those Rico Hines workouts, I thought like that's like what happens with every other player in the off season, right? Like we see Dwight Howard doing that, but to actually carry that forward into the season is mind blowing to see.
Yeah, I remember you, Kai, like you calling me out about my Barnes article before.
Yeah, because okay, I didn't call you out because I thought Scottie Barnes wouldn't take the leap. I was like, yeah, he better, bro. Like, give me something, give me someone
Yeah,
interesting. Give me like,
you wanted Precious Achua or Malachi
I wanted
Flynn.
Precious to shoot. No, I don't talk about Malachi Flynn. That guy's trash.
But yeah, I mean, like the what you guys were mentioning were right. Like that step back three was absolutely filthy,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
his shot looks so much smoother right now. Like it was a little janky, his first 2 years of the league, but you can see that he really took the time this off season to improve his mechanics. It's a little bit more stable right now, and it's a lot smoother, and it's actually showing. In fact, he's actually he's shooting a lot more pull-ups this season as well. Like
Yeah.
he's shooting 58% from the field actually on pull-ups, and 40% from three. It's not he's only shooting 8.5% of his threes of his shots on pull-ups, but it's still a solid 40%. And that's more than you can ask for. That's growth on his part, right? And the fact that he's actually shooting 40% from three is pretty remarkable, even on catch and shoot looks. Like he's shooting 40%, 42% on catch and shoot looks this season compared to 30% last year. So that's just a huge improvement on his part, and it shows the confidence as well. Like he's taking a lot more threes this year. So you gotta love what you're seeing from Scottie Barnes. I mean, I mentioned in that article that hey, maybe this is like the Tatum breakout year for him. Like, why not?
Let's do it.
Mm.
Better defender though.
Absolutely.
Oh, come on, man. Let me read you this stat real quick. So this was posted by Matt Williams of ESPN. So Scottie Barnes in the fourth quarter against the Spurs, he had 17 points, 2 blocks, and 2 steals. Okay, so he's the third person in the last 10 years with at least 15 points and multiple blocks and steals in a fourth quarter, joined only by LeBron James and Carmelo Anthony when he was on the Trailblazers, so it doesn't really count. But
I thought
yeah,
it was gonna be Anthony Davis.
almost, man. One name off. I can't get Aaron too excited now. But yeah, no, like the pull-ups, man. Like he's taking them with confidence. Like you'll see him once or twice a game, like in transition, spot up at the 3-point line, like after like maybe Dennis or Pascal drives it up, they'll swing it to him on the corner or swing it to him behind the arc, and he'll knock it down. Like those aren't shots that you ever wanted to see him take, right? Last season. If he take those shots, I think Bill Simmons has like a thing with certain players where I forget exactly what he calls them, but it's just like he's like the no, yes, guys.
Yeah.
Right? Where it's just like you see them take the shot and all you can scream is no, no, no. And then if they knock it down like every once in a while, it's like, okay, cool, they did it. But Scottie Barnes was exclusively a no, don't do it, bro. He was shooting like 20 something percent, like 28% from 3-point range last year, right? On 2.9 attempts a game. So just seeing this boost in confidence, and you can tell from his body language, and it's not even just the shots he's taking, right? It's the body language, it's the willingness to attack, it's when he's attacking, it's when he's deciding to take over these games that you can tell that like there's a renewed energy and life for this player. And I don't want to put it on Nick Nurse's back here, but Darko, man, thank you. Darko Rajakovic. The way that this guy has elevated Scottie Barnes to the detriment of Pascal Siakam, but the way that he has elevated Scottie Barnes so far this season has just been a treasure to watch. And seeing Scottie Barnes care this way, especially on defense, like the way that he is defending this season, his blocks, his physical, like his physicality, his steals, and like that the last play of the fourth, when the Spurs were inbounding it and Scottie completely read the play. Like that's not something he did last year. He wasn't that locked in ever. Like it's not just that he's stronger and a better shooter this year, like he's smarter, he's more confident. And like there's growth in every single facet of who Scottie Barnes has been so far this season. And I love it, man. That's his team. It's his team, like it doesn't matter if the Raptors suck this year or not. If we keep seeing this growth from Scottie Barnes, I think that's all you really need for a successful Raptors season.
Yeah. And just like quickly shouting out Darko again, he was the guy who oversaw Shea go from like 10 to a 20 points per game guy in one season. He was part of the Suns when they had that bubble run. He was part of the Grizzlies when Desmond Bain went from the 30th overall pick to a an all-star caliber guard. So I am glad that this is this guy who's helping Scotty grow as well now. So I think, like you said, despite however the season ends, there is potential here for good things to come.
Good.
Yeah, they should definitely look more into trading their veterans, like Pascal obviously,
Yeah.
for a lot of value, because the sooner they build around Scotty, the better it's going to be for this team.
Yeah.
Because the Raptors aren't winning anything this year. They're bad.
Hey, we slapped the Milwaukee Bucks, all right? Put some respect.
That's a mid off.
We beat the Spurs, who beat the Phoenix Suns twice. Okay, please, bro, please,
That's also a mid off.
please, bro, please. Okay? Let's relax. Okay, this is a good team. This is a winning team.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Let's talk about the other side of the equation from that Spurs Raptors game. Victor Wembanyama continues to absolutely dazzle. I ranted about Scotty. Does someone want to rant about Wemby for a bit here? Someone want to talk about what
Probably
they've
Mike.
seen?
I know Mike wants to rant about Wemby.
Do you want
Just look at that look in his eyes. Yeah, go crazy.
Cook.
Cook, bro, please. I'm begging for it.
so Wemby, I tweeted out the other day, Victor Wembanyama is the most exciting player since Steph Curry.
Uh,
So I mean, it's just mind-boggling to see what he's doing. Like that game versus the Suns. I mean, both of them were just mind-boggling, just what he could do. Like his ability to just get the ball wherever. Like he's just an out of this world athlete. Like you can see his teammates are just sort of like learning how to play with him. Like you saw a couple of times during that second Suns game where they were absolutely dominating that they figured out that, hey, just throw it up there. Just throw it up there, man. He's gonna get it.
He's there somewhere.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, I don't know, man. Like, I'm speechless watching him. I watched his highlights like more than 10 times that day. Just how crazy it is.
Yeah. It's mind-bending stuff, man. Like that game against the Raptors, there was that one play where like in the first quarter where OG's like, "Yo, let me try this guy." Tries to like I think it was an out of bounds play as well, or out of timeouts play. OG gets the ball, tries to take Victor Wembanyama down, tries to back him down, and OG's way stronger, right? Like there's no question about it. OG has like 40 pounds on this dude, and he's built, he's big, he's a strong dude, physical player. He puts his shoulder into Wemby, like pushes Wemby, like Wemby clearly is like backing down a little bit. So OG goes up for it, doesn't matter. Like it doesn't matter how deep you push Wembanyama, he's still gonna block you. And he pinned his ball against the backboard, bro. Like I've never seen anything like it.
Sometimes he doesn't even have to jump. Like he just reaches. Like his reach is
Yeah.
what makes him more special. Like he's basically an 8-foot player out there with a wingspan.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, he does have an 8 foot wingspan, which is crazy. Like, I don't think. Well, we still saw some guys trying because he's a rookie, but I think like even like by next year, the Spurs are gonna have like the best paint defense solely because people don't want to try. Like, why would you try against a guy with an 8 foot wingspan? Like, sure, you can body him, but he still gets his hands over the ball regardless. Like, it's baffling. Like, second in blocks. He's second in blocks, but he's first in block percentage as a rookie. Like, I don't know how you do that when there's like guys like AD and JJJ who have put up like historical block numbers over the years, and then you have a guy in his first season coming with like the most hype since LeBron. So do have managing all that to still put up these numbers, I think it's ridiculous. Like there are so many guys who wilt under pressure, but it's crazy how he's just excelled under the pressure.
No, yeah, that's absolutely true. And I think Wemby is so generational because his combination of size and skill hasn't really been seen in a long time, and maybe not ever, honestly, ever. And the fact that like players have to adjust to playing against him on defense, it's ridiculous because it's gonna take some time for them to try to figure this out. Because right now, like as we know, like they've been trying, but they've been failing because it's just so easy for him to block shots.
Yeah. Can I just say there is no solution? It's it, bro. Like we've never seen anything like it. We'll never understand it. This is beyond comprehension. Like we're gonna have to go. Like archaeologists are gonna have to go to like Central America, dig up like some Mayan tablets or something to be able to figure out how to stop this absolute apocalypse beast, bro. Like it's magnificent. I don't understand it. It's not even the paint. The amount of shots that he altered against the Toronto Raptors yesterday, like 3-point shots that he altered, right? He forced 2 air balls on the same possession. Like is that like what? Like I don't think that there's a way to track that, but I'd have a hard time believing anybody else has ever done that. Right? He's tipping 3-pointers constantly. He's completely altering the geometry of the game of basketball. It is mind-boggling to watch. Like teams, and you're right. I forget who brought it up. Sorry, but um, like testing him in the paint, like you can't. Um, And teams have figured, like, teams know that, right? Like they'll drive into the paint and you can tell, like, there's this, like, only 7 games in, there's this hesitation that guys are driving to the rim with, that Wembanyama might be there. Like, bro could be sitting on the bench. And I'm sure like people are thinking about it, bro. They're like, what if I gaslit myself into like thinking he's not playing? What if he just swoops in? Like, it's terrifying. And his offense too, like, I'm loving, like, it looked awkward the first 5 games. It did. Like, there's no getting past it. He looked like Bambi on ice. Like, it just didn't look right. And you could tell that, like, that's something that he's going to need to work through. But yeah, Mike, like, you're right. Like, they started figuring out, it's like that thing in football where it's just like, you know what? The receiver's down there somewhere. Like, Tyreek Hill's down there somewhere. Just toss it, bro. Like, he'll grab it. Doesn't really matter. Wemby's there somewhere, bro. Like, he can catch passes that no other person ever born could have caught. And he can finish in ways at the rim. Like, he can contort his body really well in the air, which is, I think, one of the most interesting things about his game, like on lobs, right? Like, there was a lob against the Suns where Trey Jones just, like, it looked like he was going for a shot. Like, he's just at the top of the arc. He just sends it to the rim and Wemby just gives it a little tap in. And like you can't do that with other guys, man. Like, it doesn't make sense. And then the 3-point shot, dude. The 3-point shot, it's just, it doesn't go down that often, but you have to be there for it. You have to. Like, you need to at least try to contest it. The only issue is that it's incontestable because he shoots it at a higher point than anyone can possibly reach.
Yeah, and he jumps on them too. Like, you saw the pull up that he did, like, to end like the first quarter or something against Phoenix.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he just pulled up. I don't know how he does it, even like with so much arc, with the weight, with this high release point. But
dude, it's a nice looking shot.
it is.
It's crazy. He's got all like the physical traits, but then like his fundamentals are really clean. He's a good passer, right? Like, there were a couple times that, like, in the Raptors game, that he just spotted guys really well. Like, he'll grab an offensive rebound and he spotted someone on the corner, and the Spurs just need to knock them down more often. But like, he's a good passer. He's a willing passer. He's not Jokic, obviously, but like, he's willing. But yeah, his fundamentals are there. Like, he's clearly just a great basketball player, past just being gigantic.
Yeah, I think that's an advantage too. Like, his height is an advantage too when it comes to his playmaking. He's just gonna see everybody, right? Like, see whatever cutters to the basket. Eventually the Spurs are probably gonna have to make him like the primary, like a hub on the offensive end. Like, as long as he figures it out, obviously Pop's going to instill that into their system. So I just, most exciting player since Steph Curry.
Okay, well, Steph Curry wasn't exciting as a rookie, so calm down. Calm down.
Relax.
What
are you talking about?
This
Like, we let it slide the first time, and then he thought he'd just bring it up again.
Yeah, bro, you're not James Harden, man. Don't bring it up twice.
I'm happy.
Don't repeat yourself. Okay, we weren't having it.
Speaking of Pop, though, like, Wemby is in the perfect situation. He has the perfect coach, and he's also being mentored by, the other Spurs legends like Duncan Robinson, Tony Parker, Manu Ginobili, blah 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 blah. Like, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's scary how good he already is just a handful of games into the season, and it's gonna be even scarier knowing he's gonna be so much better. Like, that's a fact. He's gonna be so much better.
Yeah. Again,
than what
like,
he is right now.
yeah, like every expectation I had for him, just throw it away.
Yeah.
It's better. Like,
he deserves the LeBron kind of hype.
Yeah, league's done, bro. It's over.
It's absolutely done. League is
It's over.
Yeah. Before we go, shoot, we don't really have time. We don't get to trash on the Grizzlies. Sorry, Mike.
Hey, they won a game.
Man, I was looking forward to it.
I know, bro. I know. Well, quickly, do we just want to like go around? Everyone name your favorite loser so far this season.
Sure.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Okay. Aaron, go.
Julius Randle, like I think there's no question, averaging 27% from the field while complaining that your teammate who has 45 missed a shot and then you walk back on defense. Bro, I've never seen anything like this. Like what is this? What do they call this? Even year Julius Randle?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bro,
Every other year, Julius Randle, dude.
I-
He might be the
horrendous.
worst body language player in the league.
No question.
It's
Oh,
crazy to me. All right, Mike, who's your big loser?
I have the same. Who else could it be? Like Julius Randle's just horrible. Like he's got Knicks fans already begging for him to go after after he averaged 25 last season. Like it's almost cut down in half. Like 27%. How do you shoot 27% from the field? How? Like
Fred VanVleet numbers.
dude, his true shooting percentage is at 37. 37. Averages around like what 50, 55 or something.
Yeah. It's awful, man. All right, Diego, who's your big loser?
I think I just have the entirety of the Grizzlies team. Like
Yeah.
I feel really bad for Desmond Bain and Jared Jackson.
Dog, I feel bad for Marcus Smart. Bro was crying.
I don't feel bad.
Yeah,
Bro was crying.
but I feel bad because for those two are actually still really good.
Hey.
Can't really say the same for Marcus Smart.
No, I agree though.
But I
Like
don't blame-
Marcus Smart, he's putting up career efficiency numbers. Bro is doing his absolute best. Although he
He's doing
cannot
it.
stop from turning the ball over.
Yeah.
Like that's a Marcus Smart problem that will never go away. But bro is doing all that just for. But like, what can you do when you have that many rotational players injured and then you have Ja suspended, right?
Oh,
So-
it's such a rough
Yeah,
situation.
their best center isn't there, and
Yeah.
also their best player isn't there. So it's like they can't really do much about it. But it just really sucks for those guys.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Adam's loss was pretty underrated. So I think that
Crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was bad last season, and now it's just really rearing its head. But like with Smart, man, every single year he's made the playoffs. Every single year he's been in the league. He's made the playoffs. He's been on like good Boston teams. Man, this sucks for him. He must be devastated, especially watching how good the Celtics have been so far. Like that's tough, bro. But my biggest loser is Adrian Griffin. Bro, this guy's gonna get fired.
Oh yeah.
Oh, it's so over for him, man. Dog, you came into the season with a bad look already, having lost Terry Stotts like right away. What the hell was that? And now, like, your defensive system is horrendous. Like, Dame is a bad defender. We get it, but like, holy dude, it's so bad. So yeah, Adrian Griffin and the Bucks. Tough for them.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think Dame is doing him any favors by the absolute stinkers he's putting up. So I saw like multiple people talk about how this is the career worst defense we've seen from Dame, and then somebody else was like, "Y- it's the same Dame. It's just he's playing on East Coast time now, so we see it more." And that's probably right. Like this is he doesn't care, and unfortunately like Adrian Griffin was never that good, I guess. So
Yeah, it's
It's just offensively they're just not that good either.
yeah,
They're not even using Dame like he's a generational offensive talent.
exactly.
That's the problem here. It's not. Oh, the defense is obviously a problem, but like it's not as big of a problem as why they should be good offensively. They should be top of the league, one of the best offensively, but they're just far from it.
yeah. I mean, their plus minus is worse than like the Pacers plus minus, and they got blown out by what 50.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, look, I'm still gonna give them the benefit of the doubt. It's like 2 weeks into the
Of
season.
course,
Like
of course.
Dame's gonna like figuring out a player like Dame in a brand new team, it's gonna take some time.
Watch them fire Adrian and then rehire Terry.
Nah, that'd be so ugly, bro.
Yeah, I
Harry
don't know about
State
that.
winning you the Larry O'Brien.
I wouldn't be shocked.
Well, he knows how to unlock Dame.
Yeah, he knows how
and
to.
that'll get you somewhere better than what they have right now.
I guess so. He knows how to get swept by the Warriors too. All right,
In the finals?
that's all the time, huh?
In the finals?
No, wait, didn't he get? Yeah,
Oh
funny
my
guy, funny guy. All right, that's all the time we've got for today. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to the Positionless pod. Make sure to check us out or if you're watching on YouTube, everyone say hi or bye, I guess, at this point. If you're checking us out on YouTube, make sure to comment, like, and subscribe down below. If you're checking us out on Spotify, thank you for listening. Make sure to follow along and rate and review. We appreciate all of you guys. Make sure to check us out on socials. So that's Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, or X or whatever. And then what else is there? That's about it, I think. Yeah. Signing off for Aaron Matthew, Michael Anthony Cruz, and Diego San Agustin. I am Kai Gamage. Boys, it's been a slice.